Hello and welcome to Luxury. Next to me here we have the 2024 BMW i7 eDrive 50 here in for a full build quality analysis where we literally walk around the vehicle, check for panel gaps, fit and finish, and see how this thing is really screwed together. We'll also jump inside and talk a lot about this unbelievable interior that this i7 has. So welcome to another out of spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. This one's going to be a special one, so let's jump into it. Before we jump into our build quality analysis walking through the vehicle, I first want to give some big disclaimers up front. If you don't like nitpicking, if you think people don't care about panel gaps, yada yada, don't watch this video. It's really not for you. What I'm trying to see with these videos is how are these vehicles quite literally screwed together? We've seen a lot of manufacturer vehicles, customer delivered vehicles that really could use some serious massaging. But this vehicle is going to be pretty interesting. You see, this is a BMW press vehicle, and BMW goes to quite literally a crazy extent to make sure that these cars are as representative and almost as perfect as possible when reviewed by journalists like myself. Quite literally, they are taken off of the assembly line. They are gone through making sure all the panel gaps, the fit and finish is absolutely perfect, shimming things, taking it on handling courses, making sure there's no rattles inside. You kind of see where we're going here. So why I think this video could be quite special is this is really BMW's flagship vehicle. This is their very expensive electric i7, and I think this thing is going to be quite literally one of the best vehicles we've ever had in our build quality analysis. Now with this video, these do get quite long, so I'll chapterize this. You can skip to the things you don't care about, skip to the things you really do care about, and everywhere in between. So without further ado, let's jump into it. I want to quickly run you guys through the sticker here so you can kind of get an idea of where this car sits in terms of price point. So of course, this is the 2024 BMW i7 eDrive 50, a long name there. So manufacturer retail price here of a base one, $105,700. Now we have tons of options on this thing and totaling quite a big number here. Driver assistance pack, BMW individual with Alcantara headliner, holy smokes, $5,400. Luxury rear seat, M Sport pack, premium pack, executive pack here, retailing at $130,395. Okay, that's quite a bit of money. Now, off the top of my head, we just reviewed the Macan Turbo that I think was right at $130,000. But I think this sits at a very interesting point in the electric market. Okay, technically this kind of competes with the Model S, but this is really on the luxury side. This also kind of competes with Porsche Taycan, but again, that's really more of a sports sedan, I guess you could say, where this is all luxury. What else really competes with this? I guess arguably the most comparable to this would be something like the Lucid Air Grand Touring, which is far more expensive than this. Arguably, way nicer vehicle. This thing just went on our i90 Surge and everybody wanted to be in the i7 because it is just the most luxurious, the most comfortable, the quietest that we had out of the whole bunch. Arguably, of course, this would compete with the Mercedes EQS. Again, I think this is far nicer. In combustion land, the i7 really competes with things like the S-Class from Mercedes, Audi A8, Audi S8, anything like that. So it's really interesting where this car sits, and honestly, looking at the dollar figure here, man, you have a whole heck of a lot of car. I think you guys are going to be absolutely blown away when we jump inside. It's truly insane. We're going to start on the exterior of this, looking at panel gaps, fit and finish. Now, along with me, I have this little tool. Very hard to read these numbers, but basically there are tons of little tick marks on here that are in millimeters. So we can actually measure the gaps. I can quantify those for you guys instead of just saying, this looks good, I don't know about this. So we can take measurements throughout this. I'm expecting this to do unbelievably well. The whole point of doing this is I'm really almost expecting near or perfection here. I really think this thing is going to get us as close as humanly possible to a near perfect build. So let's jump into it. First off here, the front end. Okay, it's definitely not the prettiest thing, I will say that. This front kidney grill situation going on here, Ooh, definitely not pretty, but definitely commands a presence on the road. This thing is definitely striking when you see it kind of wafting down the road. And then you have a queen size bed almost here on the front hood. I mean, it just goes 4 miles when you're considering your head is sitting all the way back here and feet and feet and feet until the front end. It's pretty darn crazy. So let's start off here on the front hood and see how this thing is built. So first thing noticing here. Now I'm going to tell you this hood is sitting a little bit on the low side here. Hard to show, but you can definitely feel here that the hood is sunk in. Is that the same way on the other side? I can definitely see it is. So that could be design intent. You'll see that fender kind of sticks up a little bit. So can't really say that that's terrible there. Just wanted to note it. I want to feel this all the way through. Absolutely perfectly smooth. Want to take a quick measurement here. 4 millimeters. Now, for me, the ideal panel gap on basically panels that move, hood, doors, rear trunk lid, is right around 4 millimeters. Singer says that is what they shave down all of their vehicles to. I think 4 millimeters looks like a very tight, nice tolerance, but I do think this really gets into, you know, how tolerances look between cars. If they're too tight, Rivian, where doors are literally touching fenders, that becomes an issue. So I want to see that they're even all the way through. You know, things like the bumper here to the fender, those are going to be a lot different and a lot tighter. But let's continue around here on the hood. Taking another measurement, exactly 4 millimeters. Taking another measurement up here, exactly 4 millimeters. Somebody's definitely gone through this. And again, this is why I wanted to show this, because I'm so freaking excited about this. This is my type of nerdiness stuff. 4 millimeters exactly. Nearly perfect hood there. Gapping looks incredible throughout. Zero complaints. Absolutely love this. Let's look at the tolerances here. Absolute perfection. Look how those come together. Absolutely love that. Same thing over here. Bang on the money. Let's check out this bumper. Fitting amazingly well. Love to see when you have a body line that goes through here that it perfectly lines up. Yeah. You're going to hear a lot of this. I'm excited because this is just fun to see an almost perfect car here. I hope I can find 1 or 2 things that the BMW press fleet may have missed here, but dang, so far off to an unbelievable start. Absolutely perfect here, absolutely perfect there. What about the front end though? Let's look in here. Lots going on, of course. Big front kidney grille. We of course have some space for radar. These are little slats in here. Honestly, looking at this, folks, wow, really can't see a single thing wrong. I've already looked through this car, so I kind of have a good rough idea, but everything, the tolerances around here, unfreaking believable. I will say this little area down here is ever so slightly off. That would be my one small little nitpick there. I don't even know if you guys can see that, trying to get that in. That's definitely a little bit off. Boo-hoo, not a big nitpick there, but definitely wanted to just show that. Other things up here, honestly, not really. Looking pretty amazing. It is interesting. A lot of companies are moving to this DRL up here and your headlight housing down here. I don't really love the look of it, but it's pretty interesting. In here, you have actual crystals, which are insane. They catch the light so differently and look pretty unbelievable. If I unlock the car here, you can see how they twinkle into life. That is such a cool feature there. It just looks amazing. Look at that. That is quite interesting. We'll say definitely not my favorite front end, but man, the little bit of wow factor there, pretty incredible. Let's continue moving down the driver's side. Here, again, all this looking perfect. This fender to hood, this is all looking absolutely perfect. How about into the doors? Now, largely, this is a very simply designed vehicle, especially when you look down the side. It is just real estate for days. Not a lot of curves, not a lot of contours, but dang, all the fit and finish here is unbelievable. Look at how nice that is. Those tolerances, absolutely perfect all the way throughout. Now, the interesting thing you'll notice here, of course, in all of these door jambs are rubber seals. That's really going to help with NVH, noise isolation of the cabin. This thing is unbelievably quiet on the road. I mean, it is almost to the point of like, I just got out of my Model 3 Performance and got in here and I felt like I had noise canceling AirPods in. It is that crazy, to be honest. So pretty impressive stuff there. see if we can get a little bit of a measurement. This one's going to be almost next to impossible because of that rubber seal, but I can tell you all the way through, that looks about 4 millimeters to me and extremely impressive. Everything down here looking unbelievably perfect. Look at those tolerances. Absolutely love this. All of this down here looking very good. The interesting thing down the side here is that we do have quite a few ultrasonic sensors. So if you count them here, we have one right there, one right there, one right there, one right there, one here, and one here. And then you get to the back bumper, you get to the front bumper, ultrasonic sensors everywhere. Why is that? Well, these have self-opening doors. So if I do that, boom, the door presents itself. Very nice feature. Since I was standing here, it didn't open up all the way. Can we get it to open all the way? Nope, it's gonna close. Okay, a little bit different there. Let's open this up. There we go. So now that I wasn't standing there, you can see that the door opened up. This interior is insane. I can't wait to get into this. Now, I believe I can close this door from a button. I need to remember exactly where it is. Can I press that? Yes, I can to close it. Perfect door shut. Dang, that's awesome. Absolutely love that. So, door here fits absolutely perfect all the way down. Again, you can see all of that seal in there. Looks incredible. Back here, we can actually get a little bit of a measurement. Wow, actually pretty tight. 3.5 millimeters there. 3.5 millimeters there. So a little tighter tolerances there. Again, I said these looked around 4. I would say I was pretty darn close there. Looking down here, everything is absolutely perfect. No complaints, no issues. Will say the air's on right now from the outside. I don't know if you guys can get this humming noise coming in at all. Doesn't really sound the nicest in my impression, but definitely just wanted to note that. Looking here at this B-pillar area, perfect tolerances. Perfect all the way here. Look how these line up. Love it. Absolutely love it. Now you can see BMW has some big weather stripping that goes in here. We'll say this looks a little strange to me. Almost looks like somebody took scissors and cut that off. That's definitely design intent there. Just wanted to note, like, my eyes kind of went directly to that. Again, I'm very nitpicky with stuff. I'm a professional detailer, so my eyes are literally drawn to defects. That's why I do these videos here on this channel, because I see a lot of things a lot of people don't see. But man, so far, almost perfection here. So looking in here, door handle's very interesting. You can also grab it like that. I believe this has soft close. Very nice soft close there. Such a nice premium feature. If you don't get the door closed all the way, you don't want to use the auto opening. I think the automatic doors here are really cool because they have the ultrasonic sensors. You just hit this button, basically, boom, right there from the inside, and they'll open to their desired amount of basically what you can get out without smacking something. So that's pretty cool. Rear door here, absolutely perfect. I love how they split this glass here and put this little seam in here. This all looks so premium, so nice. When you open up this back door, I will say the only complaint is how this glass comes out here. I did notice getting out of a tight parking spot here while I was being chauffeured around by Mr. Connor, you can definitely smack on this, and it is not the softest edge to say the least. So things looking still pretty darn good around the driver's side here. Honestly, no complaints so far. Not really that surprised. I mean, I'm just standing here looking. Look at those tolerances. Absolute perfection all the way through. I'm so excited with this. I'm really so excited to see a car finally well built and doing very well in our build quality video. Here on the 3/4 rear fender here to the bumper, absolutely impressive. Unbelievably tight tolerances there. Looks phenomenal. Now the back of the i7, I will say, looks a whole heck of a lot better than the front end. Very commanding presence, a very wide, big, boat-like vehicle. And dang, is it truly impressive. Let's look here at the rear trunk and see the tolerances. I have found one issue. Let's see if it's an issue on the other side. I don't know if you can see this. The trunk lid is sitting ever so slightly down. As you can see, my finger, when it goes over that, kind of pops up. So that's not perfect over there. How does it look though in terms of tolerances here? Yep, definitely a little bit low. So I do think that could go up a little bit. How's this side? This side looks a little bit better. So looking here, still slightly off, I will say. So trunk lid could come up a little bit. Yes, I have found one thing here. Awesome. Now on this rear trunk lid, they have a little button here, which I think is pretty terrible. Why? Because that's going to get absolutely scratched to all heck. Let's see how this closes. That was unbelievably quiet. You can barely hear the motors. Wow. So impressive there. The way that clicks in, very mechanical, very quiet. That feels so premium. Absolutely love that. Taillights here, again, I think these look very sleek, very nice, very modern, I will say. I just want to take some quick measurements here if I can. That's right about 3.5 millimeters, right about 4 there, a little bit over 4 there, but dang, I mean still. These are pretty darn close. A little bit off here on this rear trunk lid. So a few small weird things going on here. Again, these are ultra nitpicky having to measure this because honestly, standing here, everything looks absolutely perfect. Even on this side, everything looks absolutely perfect. Moving down here to the rear bumper, perfect tolerances all the way through. See, no complaints. Man, the amount of ultrasonic sensors on this behemoth of a vehicle is insane. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 around just the rear bumper. Lots of impressive parking features in this as well. Not going to cover all of that, but yeah, that's why you have all these ultrasonic sensors. They're absolutely everywhere. Looking at this rear bumper to 3/4, perfection. Absolute perfection. Love to see that. Look how these taillights, like these tolerances, unbelievable. Moving back here to the charge port, let's see how this is. Perfect. No crazy charge port, a simple gas port here. You don't need anything more. You don't need something that is overly complicated like Rivian, like Lucid, like Taycan. There is nothing wrong with this, and nor do I think vehicles actually need it. It's just one more thing to break. Now, in here, you have arguably one of the best AC/DC ports in terms of these little covers. They are awesome. I only have one issue with these. When I go to close this, this just stops. I would love to see them design a way for basically these to both get closed when you just close that. I think that would just be really nice to have. Now, of course, because this isn't powered, you get out of your vehicle or you unplug it, go to get in the car, you could absolutely leave all this open and drive down the highway. I'm sure it would tell you that, but I do think that's nice. Love that you can have these little adapters here, or you just go, boom, open up both of them. Such a nice design there. Close this down. Again, perfect tolerances all the way throughout. Unbelievably impressive. We'll say this door definitely has a little bit larger gap than the passenger side. Just wanted to note that. Again, 4 millimeters looks absolutely perfect to my eyes. Looking from this side, I mean, you can see, look at the tolerances up here on this antenna. All of this, again, still looking perfect over here. All these tolerances, incredible. Absolutely incredible. See if we can find anything else, because man, I am really trying to find some stuff here. Is that sticking out a little? Maybe a little. Maybe. Yeah, it definitely is. So this is sitting out a little bit. Can see I can push that in. Would like to see that ever so slightly in a little bit. Honestly, again, very large nitpick there. Coming in here, 4 millimeters, absolutely perfect. Dang. Dang, 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 BMW. I mean, to find almost nothing on this is incredibly impressive. And again, a lot of you are probably saying, okay, well, this is a press car. It should be perfect. No. A lot of the press cars we get in here are like, did you guys actually send this out to journalists and want us to review these cars and justify, is this car, like in this case, worth $130,000? I just did a Porsche Macan that was a demo vehicle, meaning that is when a potential Porsche client goes in to look at a Macan, there were like weird things throughout that. I really would encourage you to go watch that video and compare it to this, because this is just next level comparison. So exterior fit and finish, can't believe I'm saying it. This is like a 9.9 out of 10. Amazing, amazing, amazing job here at BMW. I'm blown away. So next, let's jump inside. My gosh, what an unbelievable place to be the BMW i7 is. The stitching on the seats, the comfort, we are going to dive all into this because this is really why you buy the car. And honestly, one of the best things about the BMW i7 is that you don't have to look at that front end while you're driving it. You're inside, you're in ultra luxury. The screens, the technology, the comfort, everything in here is beyond insane. Honestly, okay, I know there's something that's triple the price of in in Rolls-Royce Spectre, but dang, for 130 grand, I mean, I've been around a lot of very expensive vehicles. I mean, you can get into, you know, Dodge Hellcats that you're getting, you know, whatever series, that are 130,000 bucks. This is quite a way to spend that money, and the interior in this is insane. You know, the funny thing I'm thinking about this, one of my other favorite electric vehicles in terms of interior, driving, overall everything, BMW iX. Unbelievable place to be, arguably quite ugly, but man, interior is just insane. I don't even know where to start here, so I guess let's just start here on this door panel. So jumping in here, we have unbelievably nice leather up here. That tight grain, you'll see it throughout the interior here. Absolutely incredible materials throughout. Beautiful stitching here. We have quite literally cheese graters. I mean, this is all metal, and honestly, it is quite sharp. Now you can see this one has the Bowers & Wilkins. Unbelievable stereo in this thing as well. It is just over the top. Everything about this car is really over the top, except for its range and its charging. Those are kind of the worst things about this car. Now, if you're more interested in that, go watch Out of Spec reviews. Plenty of stuff about all of that fun stuff, all the lane keep, driver's assist, all of those systems. We're just focusing here on materials, especially on the inside. You have the seat controllers here in crystals. Absolutely insane. Now, the thing for me that I love is, for me being one-handed on the driver's side, it is very hard for me to get my right hand all the way over there. This is a problem for me in every single car. That's why I love in the Tesla, I get in, put it to my profile, set the seat once, it's always in the same side. But this is so awesome to have this on the side. I know that's a weird thing. You see that in Mercedes, a lot of other vehicles, but I just love the way this is implemented. Looks like quite literally a piece of jewelry on here. Down here we have a little bit of, yeah, that definitely seems like kind of that plastic with some aluminum look to it. So I would say this to me is the only kind of cheapish part up here so far. Moving down, very, very nice leather. Now, one thing with this, when you have heated seats, your armrests heat up. Yes, this one does, and yes, the center console does. It is pretty insane, to say the least. I know that's a thing you can get on like normal BMWs, BMW X5s, but man, that is such a very nice feature. Then you move down the door here and look at the amount of detail they put into all of this. Nothing is plastic. This is how cars should be. Quit putting cheap, crappy plastic down there. It looks terrible, feels terrible, and you never want to interact with it. And I will say, having leather on here, or even a vegan leather, it really helps with having quite a bit of scuffs. You know, a lot of people, as you can see here, kind of scuff up the door a little bit. This is going to wear a heck of a lot better. Now, I will say the interesting thing is this grille down here is all plastic. Okay, that's a little different, but all the leather down here, unbelievably nice. Love the perforation here, the design that carries over into the seat. My biggest gripe here on the door panel, yeah, you guessed it. Look at that. That is just not good, guys. That needs to definitely be changed. I don't know what color you would make that. I definitely think putting like a textured cheap plastic on there would bring down the interior quality feel. I don't know, maybe make that carbon fiber to match the dash. Okay, it'll still fingerprint, but it'll still look pretty nice. So you can see here, window switch are of course in gloss panel black, and your door opening button there. Now, of course, sitting in here, you can actually hit this button exiting the car. Whoa, hello, as the door closes. So that's one way to close the door, open it up, and again, should open all the way up. That's pretty cool. Look at the lighting display in here. I know this is pretty much the same exact thing from the i5, but man, the amount of different colors you can do, how you can have it dance, change colors, Ambient lighting in here, you know, Mercedes goes very Miami nightclub. Like, honestly, when you turn all the lights on in there, it is so bright at night. This is very understated, very subtle, carrying around that very crystal theme throughout. I think it is very luxurious, looks incredibly nice. Moving on here to the seat. Now, this car, of course, just did the I-90 Surge. As you can see, seats are absolutely filthy. This is kind of a light cream. It almost comes across on camera as a little bit more on the white side. It's a very, very light cream. We haven't had time to clean this. This car just went Seattle to Boston, back here to Colorado, been through all of our testing. It's been through the absolute ringer here. I gotta say, these are some of the most comfortable seats I have ever sat in. I mean, dang, they are quite luxurious. The only thing I'll say, the headrest, not as comfortable as Kia EV9 or EQS stuff. I think with those little pillows on there, that makes it very nice, but dang, you just melt into the seat and it's such a nice place to be. Let me hop in here. Boom. And we can see a little bit more of the interior here of the i7. All of the dash here, all this very high-end leather wrap dash up here with stitching all the way across. Man, what a freaking nice place to be. You're gonna hear me say that throughout this because I am just honestly blown away with this car. I am not a luxury car guy, to say the least, but man, this thing is absolute comfort. So if I'd like my door closed, close that. You can see it flashes. So awesome. It is so awesome. You also have a few selections here. Boom, you press that. Now you have massaging seats here, sir. You also have memory controls. Now, I will say these are not the nicest to press. They are kind of haptic, but not really. I don't know who's sitting in this position. This is the weirdest seating position ever. But so nice to just be able to control this from here and man, really take in the view. We'll say one of the strangest things to me about this car, how small this windshield is. I know it may look big in this kind of fisheye view here, but very small and very kind of in your face. You know, you jump out of a Tesla Cybertruck or from this into a Cybertruck, that windshield is crazy. And from the outside, it looks quite large, but in here, feels very small, feels very cockpit vibe. It does kind of give this sporty-esque feel, which this car is very much not meant for. Very nice carbon fiber throughout. We have our air vents over here. As you can see, these are all touch controls. So you basically slide those. These have the most interesting air vent controls I've ever seen. So this little knob down here, boom, side to side, that's how you control the air vents. It is so oddly satisfying. As a passenger, I would just sit here and do this all day. But you can see the air vent actually comes out of there and right here. Very hidden, very minimalist, feels extremely premium, extremely nice. Now here, the glove box, I normally don't talk about these, but it's interesting. We have the button here. The way that comes down, absolutely silent. I mean, everything you interact with in here is unbelievably premium. And I think that is really what this car is truly all about. Now we'll talk about the driver's seat a little bit more. Unbelievably nice steering wheel. So let's focus here on the center console. Of course, as you can see here, lots of piano black. Now, of course, anytime you use this, it's going to look absolutely disgusting like this. Okay, it looks nice in here. I'm not the biggest fan of piano black in a car like this. I get it, but yeah, you're probably going to pay a guy like me to clean this car every so often. So does it really matter to you if you're buying this? I don't really know. But the crystal comes over to here, comes over to your shift lever. This does have a start-stop button. I think it's a little bit annoying. Don't truly love that. But then you have haptic buttons like this that actually feel quite nice. Now the cool thing is you have all these set profiles and you can see this all changes now. And you can see it's kind of twinkling right now. You can see some more yellows and oranges. And man, the lighting in here, absolutely love this. Click it into sport mode. Get this activate here. Everything goes bright red and wait for it. The BMW blue comes in, get the light blue into the purples, into the reds. I just think that's so cool. You can also see in the speaker grills here, this side is blue right now, that side is red. I mean, it is just so nicely done in here. Arguably, I would say a lot of people think this is very gaudy. This is my favorite implementation of basically any sort of accent lighting. I think it's unbelievable. The other crazy thing about putting this in sport mode, the seat bolsters, you can hear them go and basically suck in. So if I turn this off, go into expressive, relaxes the seat again. That is just unbelievably cool stuff here. Now, up here, one thing that's a little weird is these kind of separated cup holders. Lots of piano black. You can see the dust and nastiness. I'm kind of glad I didn't clean up this interior so you guys can see what this truly looks like after being used for a little bit. And definitely, this doesn't look all that nice. I think it's very interesting that these are basically separated. Would just expect that to be one opening, but it is nice that you can kind of close that up, keep the clutter down. You have a wireless phone heater down in here. Does this close up at all? No, I don't think it does. This makes it look like it should, but man, like even the fit and finish in here, I can't see a single thing that looks off. Everything is just so well presented, so quiet. Everything you touch feels so unbelievably premium. Now here, I will say some people are not gonna like that it doesn't have a bunch of controls for, hard buttons for air climate, heated seats, things like that. That is here on the screen. I will say for the passenger, it is a little bit of a reach up here. If you have a passenger princess, that could be a little bit of an issue, but honestly, yeah, still feels pretty nice. Looking up here, you can see we have a massive glass roof in here, bringing lots of sunlight in, and our very expensive Alcantara headliner, which is sectioned off very interesting. I've never seen one like this. Like, look at all the little pieces that they put in here. You can see speaker grills in there, or that cheese grater vibe. Even the plastic handles wrapped in leather. That is sick. Love that. So nice. Yeah, just an unbelievable place to be. Open up the center console here, opens up, splits, have 2 Type-C ports in there. This all feels totally fine. Again, you turn on heated seats. These actually heat up, which is really cool. Now, I expected them to kind of be ventilated too because they do have perforations in there. I'm not a big fan of perforated seats. I love AC seats, but they're a pain in the butt to clean. So if you have kids in the car, if you eat in your car, these always become clogged and look quite nasty. So from the passenger side, unbelievable comfort. I am sprawled out. You can see I'm 6 feet tall, very overweight. I have ample leg room in here and still have ample leg room in the back. So let's jump over to the driver's side, talk a little bit about the infotainment, screens, steering wheel, all of that fun stuff. Jumping in board here, dang. This driver's seating position is fantastic. You sit nice and low, very comfortable. I touch the brake, the door closes. I know this is a thing on Model X, but it's still very nice to see here, and definitely something that should be in this $130,000 vehicle. Now again, start stop button here. This turns everything on. All the beeps and bongs going on here, gets you into your seating position. Boom. Okay, done there. So let's start off here. Steering wheel. Steering wheel in this is almost perfection. It is very high quality feeling. Love the leather wrap on here. Just feels amazing in the hands. Perfect size here. Absolutely love it. Now, the only downside I would say is you do have more piano black here, but I will say these buttons feel very nice and clicky. Over here, you have some sort of your lane keep assist, your basically cruise control, things like that. So I do think that that's pretty darn good. Can turn it on and off. Very nice clicky buttons here. Love this little scroll wheel. It has this very knurled edge on it. Feels unbelievable. Absolutely love that. I'm actually changing all the songs here in my heads-up display that is coming through here. Heads-up display in this is insane. Lots of things you can do here on the screen. You can change your heads-up, what that's displaying. Hopefully you guys can see all this, but you can even go into augmented reality here. Boom. Can see all of that. It is just so unbelievably cool, the amount of technology in here. Now, I will say I spent 3-4 days in this car driving it to and from work. I very much struggle with. To me, having all of these apps here, they're very out of order of where I would want them. Now I know This is really down to driver profile. You can set up all of this, but to me, it's very hard to find any sort of settings just initially jumping into the car. So I do think this is a car you really need to sit down. You really need to lay out everything how you want it. There are options on options on options here. So I do think that's interesting. Let's see how the maps are here. Boom. I just want to quickly test this. Always like to do this because you EV folks love this with route planning. See how this does. Las Vegas, Nevada. Boom. See how quick this goes through. Does that give us all our route planning? Yes, please show me.
Please select a charging station in the control display.
Interesting. I haven't played with this at all, but this is the first one it's pulling up is a AC charger. Now I'm sure Kyle has a much bigger deep dive into this, but just initial thoughts there, not ideal. I'm sure there's ways around this with route planning and all of that fun stuff. So go check out Kyle's videos over on Out of Spec Reviews. But very nice here that you can actually control everything on the screen with your little scroll wheel here. It's in perfect placement. Can scroll through all of that, pull up my modes, pull up cameras, whatever it needs to be. Cameras here, honestly, pretty unbelievable. I always like the BMW backup cameras, how they have these kind of bars that come in as you go. Great 360 cam here. What can we see? Yeah, that doesn't look very good to say the least. Doesn't like these very tight areas. You can see there's a Model 3 Performance over here. These are some wheel and wash buckets. Those don't look all that great, but I gotta say, cameras in here for such a big car do actually feel quite nice in all honesty. So lots of great things up here. One thing I didn't touch on the steering wheel, this boost paddle back here, does that really belong in an i7? Just give me full power all the time. I don't quite understand that. In BMW speak, they do this pretty much on everything in all honesty, and that to me does feel a little bit weird. We'll say the switchgear here feels a little bit on the cheap side. It works totally fine, you know, to do the wipers, your blinkers here. They're just a little plasticky. I don't know, I kind of expected something a little bit nicer. Everything else here in the interior is unbelievably nice. This is the only thing I've kind of touched and felt that you interact with all the time that doesn't, you know, kind of feels like it's out of a 3 Series in all honesty. Other thoughts here. I would honestly say the screens are extremely high quality, very impressive. I mean, you can go through setting after setting after setting here. So very easy to kind of switch climate control here. I personally have had no problem with it, not having hard physical buttons. A lot of people will complain about that, but dang, I think it's pretty darn nice. So I guess let's jump into the back because dang, there are lots of cool things in the back here. Not much to really complain about up here. Oh, actually did forget. On the back of your headrest here is carbon of the fiber. And one thing that I've noticed is when you kind of hit the throttle a little bit and your head comes back here, you hear this little click. So you'll kind of hear it in the carbon, and you can hear it if you kind of press it. It just kind of moves around a little bit. It's the sound that carbon fiber always makes. Just wanted to note that it's not like the end of the world, but you definitely notice it if you're kind of readjusting, lounging, kind of get these clicking noises into it. So I would say, okay, that doesn't feel the nicest. Why this, I don't know, how many 1,000-pound EV has carbon in it? I don't know, but okay, looks very nice. Anyways, let's jump to the back. Jumping here into, honestly, the magic of the BMW i7. Really, you know, when you think about S-Class, A8, BMW i Series here, or 7 Series, not i Series, you really want to be chauffeured in this car. Now, do I think this is really a chauffeur car at $130,000? Arguably no. But I know when the out of spec team, we'd take the i7 out to dinner, you know, Kyle would jump in the driver's seat and I would not push back against that. I'm like, I want to be back here because this back seat, unbelievably comfortable. It is just such a nice place to be. So first off here, starting on the door panel, you're going to see some crazy screen there. We'll go through that. That is just the coolest thing. Lots of little controls in there. Very cool spot. So first off here, peasant blockers up here, which you can close through the screen. I'll show that here in a second. We have nice leather all the way through here. Again, that very nice grain. Great stitching in here. This is plastic up here, but man, they've managed that to almost feel like leather. It very much fooled me. I kind of felt this originally. I'm like, oh, it feels like leather. This is actually a little bit of plastic. No complaints there with that. This big kind of white cream perforated material here, man, does that sure feel nice. All of this just feels so luxurious, so premium. I think it's interesting they didn't take this design and put it up here. I think this looks very classy. I love stuff when you can use the same material, like in this particular instance, can have the same leather material, do it 3 different ways, and it feels very luxurious, feels very nice because it has different texture on it, different look on it. I mean, this door panel is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Look at like the inner seals here. Is this really all leather? I cannot tell. This feels like leather to me. It's insane. This is all leather down here. This just feels so freaking premium. And man, the rear seats here, you can see we do have the little pillows back here, huge armrest in here, amazing stitching in the seats. Yeah, let's jump in here. One thing I didn't notice, look at these floor mats. Okay, they got a few leaves on them. These are like almost normal house carpet in here. Oh my gosh. That's cool. Love that. So jumping in here, man, plenty of leg room. I've got that seat pretty reasonably far back. I just want to look at this back seat. This is all leather. Everything is leather here. Okay, I get the carbon look from back here because this looks absolutely sick back here. You have, again, probably plastic here with kind of that aluminum finish on it. This feels extremely nice when you're touching it. You have your little hook here. Ooh, little Type-C port. Actually, I don't know what you actually put in here. Maybe this is for some screens? Something, not exactly sure, but man, all of this being leather, this is leather, this is leather, even this is kind of a nice padded leather. Man, what a nice place to be here. Just sitting back here with my little pillow, absolutely love it. So press this button. Oop, press it twice. Thank you, please. Check out this little screen here. So lots of cool little controls here. Honestly, not a ton, but definitely all of the controls you'd want. You can change the radio from here, which is extremely cool. That's built-in Spotify throughout the system. Can go into the display, turn up the brightness here so you guys can see that a little bit better. Make phone calls. I think you can even change. No way. So yeah, you can change all of the screens up front there, go to digital art there, personal. Yeah, this is too cool having this little screen. And they're on both sides. So if you're sitting on, you know, second row, driver's side, or whatever, passenger side, not a problem at all. These have massage seats back here too. Heck yes. Well, I'm going to turn that on while we're doing that video. Yes, please. We also have seating positions, so the seat does move. Let's see how this works. Huh. Okay, haven't really played with that. Oh, yep, the seat is definitely moving. So that's pretty darn cool. So it's definitely reclining as we go here. Man, just the level of stuff in here is crazy. So we have blinds here, so I can tap this, can close it. That's pretty freaking awesome. I can also stop it if I'd like. Open that back up, please. Let me put up my peasant blocker. Let's do the other side here. Over there. Nice. And the back one goes out. One thing that I did find a little weird here, definitely doesn't match the top there. I think that's the same on this side as well. But yeah, those are pretty nice. Keeps the glare out. You can also tap the back window. Boom, that goes up as well. This thing really feels limoed out when you throw that back. Really darkens it back here. And then you can also just go, boom, open all. Everything is nice and bright. I just absolutely love this. So many cool things you can do in here. Turn on reading lights, ambient lighting. This is just next level. So freaking well implemented. Other things here. Air vents down here. Same kind of feel here. If I do have to say, this looks kind of plain. Just looks pretty bland in all honesty. So you have open and close here. than this is to control it. Again, all of your controls for your actual heat is down here. So you can change the climate and everything on here. This does have AC, massage, heated seat back here. And in the full German way, you can turn your AC seat and your heated seat on at the same time. Heck yes, absolutely love that. So I would say that feels a little bit cheap and plain in all honesty. Down here, noticing no cup holders, but this has a cool little trick. How did I do this before? Wait, what? How did I get the cup holders out last time? There we go. You press down on that and then the cup holders slide in. That's a very cool implementation there. Now, how do you close it? Okay, that's a little finicky, I would say. Press it. Okay, now it opens up nice and easy. Wireless phone heater here. I think that feels very cool and nice. And then armrest looking good here. See what kind of storage we have. Honestly, a good amount of space. 2 Type-C ports back there. Dang, and you can see they ran these kind of channels here so your cables can come out and they don't get kinked. That is so very nice. This just feels, okay, so you just kind of do that. Okay, we're closed. But yeah, the back seat here, amazing, truly amazing. You have air vents here on the B pillars. It's amazing for dogs. Don't really think this is a dog car, but really for air, just airflow throughout. Yeah, this is pretty spectacular to say the least. I mean, even look at this rear parcel shelf. All Alcantara. Everywhere you look here, the Alcantara is absolutely beautiful. You can see even areas like this. Okay, yes, they're piano black. They look very nice. Even the handles back here, leather wrapped. Cheese graters looking amazing. I'm blown away with this interior. I don't have, honestly, a ton of criticisms. You just get in this thing, you kind of waft down the road. It really makes your commute unbelievably nice. I really enjoyed my time in this for the 3 to 4 days that I was driving this to and from work. Man, after a long day of detailing, heated seat on, massage seat, Assist Plus just blasting down the highway, good to go. So let's open this up. Also, this is an interesting space for your window to come down. It's kind of at a weird angle there. You can see how I have to kind of tilt my hand. I don't know, that's a little bit strange. Now the weird thing is you have 2 buttons here, so you can open this for auto or regularly open this and then you push it. Now with these doors, the cool thing is they'll stop at any place and they kind of lock there. So you can see, okay, you can push it, but your door is not going to be blown open by wind. And then holy cow, so there's 3 places to open this door. Mechanical, of course, in case this thing dies. This is just to open it, and this is your auto, so that'll close it. You can also hit that. Boom, the door goes open. You can also, in the front screen in here, open up all the doors or close all the doors at the same time. Very nice feature, especially if you're being chauffeured in this car. I mean, honestly, this thing is so sick. Absolutely love it. So, last couple of things I want to look at here. Let's check out rear trunk space. I know we opened this here. This thing still, again, gonna get scratched to all heck. I can't believe how quiet that is. It's so nice. Now, interesting trunk space here. And the reason I say that, okay, it is quite deep, but it's kind of interesting. Look how these sides kind of come in. Like this is very Cybertruck reminiscent here. You can see it there, but we have this huge space on this side. Do we have any underfloor storage? Actually, a reasonable amount of space in there. I would say, probably not the greatest Mafia vehicle. Don't know how many, never mind, you can fit back there, but let's close this up. I can't get over how quiet that is. Are you kidding me? That feels so nice. Also, seeing these lit up, look at this design here. Absolutely primo. Now, the question is front trunk. Let me find the latch for this and see how to get in it. Now, the big question here under this queen size mattress, do we have any storage space? Holy God, no, we do not. Wow. Well, they put all the plastic underneath the front hood, which I'm glad they did. That is great, but holy cow, that is something there. I mean, man, look at that. Well, I'm glad that's not on the rest of the car. I mean, this car, okay, there's a lot of piano black plastic on here. There is quite literally not a single piece of textured black plastic other than here in the door handles. But man, okay, pretty interesting. So you're never going to use this up here. Totally get that. Again, the tricky thing with BMW compared to, you know, a lot of other vehicles, Tesla, Lucid, even Taycan, I guess, are not really ground up EVs. This is really based on a combustion platform that can be electric. Of course, they go back and forth here. So that's not really utilized space up there, but dang. Okay, well, here are my thoughts on the BMW i7 eDrive 50. Blown away. Absolutely blown away. I mean, for sure, this is the best built car we've ever had here in the shop. Now, we've had some other BMWs. I'm thinking off the top of my head, i4 M50 that was a customer delivered car that was very, very, very well built. Interior materials and that particular spec and trim of that vehicle are not even next to this interior. So blown away with the exterior. Again, I give it a 9.9 out of 10. I really don't think any car is ever going to get a 10. I think trying to get 100% perfect, man, you're really going to have to go into like Singer territory where they are literally shaving doors and measuring and measuring and measuring and measuring, making sure it's absolutely perfect. But for this, a production vehicle, to have the level of quality of this, okay, yes, I understand this is a press vehicle. You guys have seen plenty of press cars that come through here that are like, do you guys really want us to review it in this condition? Like, yeah, no problem. This is insane. And I think that is a very big testament to BMW in saying, hey, if you're going to come drive our cars, we want you to have the best possible experience. Again, I would love to see a customer delivered one, but man, this car is absolutely exceptional in terms of fit and finish. Interior, sublime. I have next to no complaints inside. Piano black inside, okay. For me, on one hand, it's like, I hate piano black, but then I love it because you can't put textured, terrible looking plastic in something like this. It would just ruin the interior and you'd start to feel like, this is a little cheap. So in one way, I'm like, okay, piano black kind of feels cheap, but in certain cars it feels premium. But in other cars it feels like having textured black trim is right. In other, you get where I'm going with it. I think it very much fits with the interior here. One thing I did not mention with this car was just, maybe I touched on it, but the NVH in this thing, ride is unbelievable. It is like you're riding on an absolute cloud. This thing just wafts over bumps and it's just amazing to drive. Really, really, really enjoy it. Interior, again, I can't speak higher of, honestly, any interior of a car I've reviewed or really been around. It just feels so luxurious, so premium, very well laid out. Yeah. I mean, for 130,000 bucks, genuinely, like I said, I mean, you can go get Lucid Air Grand Touring. This definitely rides more comfortably. Okay, it's not as efficient, doesn't charge as well, but man, for like a serious boss level executive vehicle, man, this really should put the rest of the EV industry on notice. I mean, Mercedes EQS, sorry, doesn't even come close to this. The materials in there really let down. Everything creaks, everything rattles. Really not impressed with their EQ line of products. But man, I really think the 7 Series has done something extraordinary here. Do I think it's the prettiest car in the world? Absolutely not. It's a freaking land yacht. This hood genuinely feels like a queen size bed. I could probably lay on one side, my wife on the other side, 3 dogs across here. Boom, all good to go. I am just pretty darn impressed though. The BMW i7, almost perfect. Thanks so much for joining for another out-of-spec detailing video. Let me know what you think about the BMW i7. I'm sure a lot of you are going to be like, well, it's not a Model S, and it's not this, and it's not that. And I think that's great because the i7 is what the i7 is. For 130 grand, arguably, I think this is a whole hell of a lot of car for it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one soon. Bye-bye.